A very good afternoon and welcome to the World News Review on Independent Television Abuja. I'm Kiri Oguli. Spain's Maritime Rescue Service says it's rescued 366 migrants in the Mediterranean Sea. Let's join Catherine AMSF for more on the foreign scene.
Spain's Maritime Rescue Service says it has rescued 366 migrants attempting the dangerous crossing of the Mediterranean Sea this weekend. The service says that its rescue craft has intercepted 73 migrants traveling in 4 small boats on Sunday, adding to the 293 migrants it pulled from 9 vessels on Saturday, driven out by violent conflict and extreme poverty. Tens of thousands of migrants attempt to reach Spain and other southern European countries each year by crossing the Mediterranean in smugglers' boats. Most of the boats are unfit for open water and thousands drown. The UN says 636 migrants have died crossing the Mediterranean so far this year. A total of 22,439 migrants reached European shores, with 4,409 arriving in Spain through the first 4 months of 2018. At least 4 Russian combatants have been killed by militants in the eastern Syrian province of Deir al-Zor. The Defense Ministry said 2 military advisors died when the Syrian army battery they were directing was attacked. 5 other Russians were injured and 2 died later of their wounds. Syria's army took Deir al-Zor city last November, but Islamic State fighters remain active in the province. Officially, Russia has lost about 90 personnel in the Syrian civil war. Scores of military contractors have also died since Moscow began its intervention in support of President Bashar al-Assad in September 2015. Yemeni officials and witnesses say heavy fighting between pro-government forces and Shiite rebels in recent days has killed more than 150 people. Government forces have been trying to seize rebel-held areas along the western coast, while an allied Saudi-led coalition have been targeting the rebel with airstrikes in the northwestern Sada province. Security officials say a Saudi-led airstrike in the capital, Sana'a, killed 4 civilians on Saturday and wounded 10. The officials spoke Sunday on conditions of anonymity because they were not authorized to brief the media, while the witnesses did so for fear of reprisal. The coalition has been battling the Iran-allied rebels known as Houthis since March 2015 in a war that has killed more than 10,000 people. The Houthis control much of northern Yemen, including Sana'a. Officials say more than 70 people have been killed by security forces in Bangladesh as part of a government anti-drug operation launched this month. Authorities said that large-scale raids have taken place in the capital, Dhaka. Up to 100 people were detained on Saturday and several others suspected of involvement in the illegal drug trade were shot in overnight clashes. Activists have compared the crackdown to Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte-owned deadly war on drugs. Bangladesh Police and Country Raid Action Battalion forces say since the operation was launched in Bangladesh, several thousand people have been detained, while hundreds of drugs users have received fines. Officials said in the latest incident, a number of suspected drugs traffickers were killed in exchange of fire when they were either approached by RAB forces or during raids in a number of districts.
An immigrant in France, Mahmoud Gassama, has won widespread praise after saving a child from a balcony fall as violence continues in Afghanistan. Charity Tanko has this and other stories on the foreign scene.
Mahmoud Gassama won widespread praise after climbing the outside of the building to save the 4-year-old. Video showed him being cheered on by spectators as he pulled himself from balcony to the 4th floor. After meeting him at the Elysee Palace, President Emmanuel Macron said he will be made a naturalized citizen. He personally thanked Mr. Gassama, gave him a medal for courage and said he will also be offered a role in the fire service. Mr. Gassama is said to have arrived in France last year taking the long and dangerous journey to Europe via a boat over the Mediterranean to Italy. An Afghan official says gunmen have killed at least 3 people in an attack in western Herat province. Spokesman for the provincial governor in Herat, Gelani Fahad, says the 3 victims include an employee of a voter registration center and 2 policemen. A 3rd policeman was wounded in the attack, which took place late on Sunday night. No one immediately claimed responsibility for the attack. Meanwhile, a spokesman says that the Taliban overrun several villages on Monday in the district of Kojaku in northern Takar province, pushing back the local police. There were no casualties reported. Spain's opposition socialists say the country's parliament has scheduled a debate and no confidence vote on Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy for later this week. A party spokesman said Monday National Congress Speaker Ana Pastor and Socialist leader Pedro Sanchez, who is bidding to replace Rajoy, have agreed to hold the extraordinary sessions on Thursday and Friday. The spokeswoman declined to be identified due to internal party rules. All major opposition parties are calling for Rajoy to step down after court ruled that the governing Popular Party profited from a large kickbacks for contract scheme involving business people and former party members.
The 4-year search for the missing flight MH370 has ended after the completion of a private search. Oluwatoyin Yusuf has more on the foreign scene.
US-based Ocean Infinity had been using a deep-sea vessel to survey a vast area of the southern Indian Ocean, but it found nothing, and Malaysian government say it has no plans to begin any new searches. The plane disappeared on 8th of March 2014 while flying from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing with 239 people on board. Official search reports ended last year, and there are still fierce debates about what happened to the flight. Meanwhile, at least 10 people have been beheaded in northern Mozambique by suspected Islamic militants. Children are reported to be among those targeted in the attack on Manjain village in Cabo Delgado province, a hub for mining and petroleum exploration. An Islamic militant group has carried out sporadic attacks in the region in the last year. It is believed to be making millions of dollars from selling timber and rubies. Known locally as Al-Shabaab, the group was formed in 2015 as a religious organization and has no known links to the Somali jihadist group of the same name. A man has shot dead 2 police officers and a passerby in the center of the eastern Belgian city of Liege before being killed himself. Local media say the attacker had been neutralized and that the situation was now under control. 2 other police officers were injured and the man also took a woman hostage. Belgium remains on high alert after attacks in 2016 claimed by the Islamic State group that left 32 people dead. Brussels-based militants were also involved in the 2015 Paris attack.
We'll take a quick break now. When we return, the World News Review continues. Please stay with us.
Independent television is live 24 hours on Go TV, channel 107, Star Times, channel 130. And now you can watch from any part of the world on Roku TV, Smart TV, Amazon Fire TV, and Android TV for your favorite programs, news, current affairs, and lots more. You don't want to miss our objective and balanced reportage, entertainment, and sports. Now follow us via our social media channels on Twitter at ITV Radio NG. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ITV Radio NG. Like our Facebook page, facebook.com/ITV Radio NG. Visit our website for more news stories and lots more. ITVRadioNigeria.com. Watch ITV via live streaming on the internet. ITVRadioNigeria.com/live and click on the TV stream option. Also remember to visit your mobile app store and download the ITV app so you can watch on the go. Independent television, certainly the best.
You're welcome back, and if you're just joining us, this is the World News Review on Independent Television, Abuja. Zimbabwe is set to hold its national elections on July the 30th, which is widely viewed as a test for Emmerson Mnangagwa, who took over after a brief military takeover in November of 2017. Tosin Olaguju has more on the foreign scene.
The elections will be a major test for Mnangagwa, who succeeded veteran former President Robert Mugabe as head of state, following a brief military takeover in November that led to the 94-year-old's departure. Mugabe's successor, President Emmerson Mnangagwa, 75, will square off against Nelson Chamisa, 40 of the opposition movement for democratic change. Elections under Mugabe were marred by corruption, intimidation and violence, but Mnangagwa was as vowed to hold a free and fair vote. North Korea's former top spy was bound for New York City and will reportedly meet U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo on Thursday. General Kim Yong-chol, the right-hand man of North Korea's leader, will hold high-level talks of preparation for an historic June 12 nuclear summit in Singapore between U.S. President Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un gather pace. Pompeo's spokeswoman said it will be the third meeting between Pompeo, who opened contact with the isolated Pyongyang regime when he was still CIA director, and General Kim. The North Korean envoy was at Beijing airport on Wednesday for his flight to New York, a day after arriving in the Chinese capital. U.S. officials familiar with the planning said Kim was scheduled to meet Pompeo on Thursday. A Somali military court has today sentenced 3 men to death by firing squad for the October 2017 attack, which 20 people were killed. The men were said to have been part of a group of fighters who carried out an attack on Nasser Ablot 2 Hotel in the capital Mogadishu on 28 October 2017. The court said that the men were part of the extremist militant group Al-Shabaab, which are a threat to the government. Judge Hassan Shute said the 3 men pleaded guilty before the 1st Division Military Court of the Somali National Army. The judge sentenced the 3 men to death by firing squad. However, the case is still open for appeal. The attack on the 2 hotels claimed the lives of 20 people and left 40 others injured.
The right-hand man to the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has met with U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo in New York to discuss a historic summit. Oluwatoyin Yusuf has the details of this and other stories on the foreign scene.
U.S. Marines in Afghanistan killed dozens of Taliban leaders last week using rocket artillery after tracking them to a meeting in volatile Helmand province, according to the top American general in Afghanistan. U.S. forces Afghanistan said more than 50 Taliban commanders, including the deputy Taliban shadow governor of Helmand, was killed. Taliban leaders from 6 other provinces across Afghanistan were killed as well in the strike in the Musa Kala district of Helmand, according to the statement. 20 other Taliban leaders were killed in the airstrikes earlier this month by drones and Air Force A-10 Warsaw jet based in neighboring Kandahar, which arrived earlier this year along with thousands of additional American troops. European judges have ruled that Lithuania and Romania violated the rights of 2 Al-Qaeda terror suspects by allowing the CIA to torture them. The U.S. captured Abu Zubaydah and Abdul Rahim al-Nashiri after the September 2001 attacks in the U.S. and they are now at the Guantanamo Bay prison. The CIA operated secret prisons including in Lithuania and Romania. The European Court of Human Rights, the existence of the so-called CIA black site for interrogation under so-called secret rendition was kept secret for many years after 9/11. Abu Zubaydah, a stateless Palestinian born in Saudi Arabia, is thought to have been Al-Qaeda's chief recruiter in the 90s and later became a key organizer linking Osama bin Laden to other Al-Qaeda cells. According to the U.S. intelligence, Saudi-born Abdul al-Nashiri led Al-Qaeda's operations in the Gulf region. The right-hand man to North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has met U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo in New York to discuss a historic summit. Jen Kim Yong-chol dined with Mr. Pompeo after flying from China, and the two are due to meet again on Thursday. He is the most senior North Korean to visit the U.S. in nearly 20 years. U.S. President Donald Trump cancelled the 12th June summit, but both sides have since made fresh efforts to hold it as planned. Scheduled to happen in Singapore, the historic meeting between Mr. Trump and Kim Jong-un would be the first between sitting U.S. and North Korean leaders. On Wednesday evening, Mr. Pompeo and General Kim arrived separately at a building close to the UN headquarters.
And for Foreign News Friday, our correspondent is standing by.
The incident previously reported by Doctors Without Borders and local sources occurred on May 23rd in the town of Bani Walid, 170 kilometers southeast of Tripoli. Bani Walid is a transit point for migrants aiming to reach Europe by boat from the coast further north. People traffickers and kidnappers run around 20 detention centers in the town, telephoning the migrants' family to deliver ransom demands. Since the 2011 fall and killing of longtime dictator Muammar Gaddafi, Libya has become a key launchpad for migrants making desperate bids to reach Europe. A regional bloc mediating South Sudan peace talks wants a face-to-face meeting with President Salva Kiir and rebel leader Riek Machar by July as pressure grows to end a 5-year civil war. The Intergovernmental Authority of Development statement also decided to submit punitive measures against violators of December's failed ceasefire. The statement doesn't say who would be targeted. Sanctions need approval by the bloc's heads of state and government. Machar has made under house arrest in South Africa. The statement indicates that the proposed meeting with South Sudan's president ahead of an African Union meeting on July 1st in Mauritania will inform a final decision on Machar's participation in the peace progress. Burkina Faso's parliament has abolished the death penalty by adopting a new penal code that strikes it as a possible sentence. Justice Minister Rene Bagoro said Thursday that the revised document paves the way for more credible, equitable, accessible and effective justice in the application of criminal law. The death penalty was kept in the version of the criminal code adopted in 1996, but Burkina Faso has not imposed capital punishment recently. Many rights movements, including Amnesty International and Catholic Church activists, have pressed the government for a decade to remove it from criminal statutes. The decision to abolish the death penalty comes amid a landmark trial this year over a failed 2015 coup. 2 former presidential aides are among more than 80 people facing the military tribunal.
And that has been the World News Review on Independent Television Abuja. Thanks for staying with us. I'm Ikiru Obuli. See you next time.